Greeting interwebs, it's Jackie K. Welcome for another edition of Game and Chill. It's been a while, I've been all over the place throughout the summer, so time has never really lined up to record anything proper, at least in terms of an update, for a bit. A lot of the time has passed, and I've been bouncing between a wide variety of projects, so hopefully y'all don't mind me post-commentating this time around, maybe even scripting a little, just so I can get through all of it more efficiently. I noticed it a couple times in the Pokemon XG finale, but it never really felt, like I said, with enough certainty, so forgive me for re-elaborating, but a huge reason I haven't continued Pokemon XG past the finale is that I was trying to give myself a little more time to focus on projects outside of YouTube. With mixed results, but more on that later. I do currently still have plans to come back to XG for the post-game, but currently I'm taking a break from it for an undisclosed period of time. My best guess is once I finish up at least a couple of the other projects I've been working on, I'll start recording more of it again. It would be kind of silly to come all this way and not even finish up Mountain Battle at the very least. And then again, unfortunately, I've been less consistent with actually uploading here, but I have been trying to keep the channel alive despite that, through a variety of shorts uploaded throughout the weeks, mostly of highlights throughout various playthroughs of past, but there has been a few special things here and there. For one, I've adapted my plans to make a single editorial of my fan Pokedex in Legends ZA into a YouTube short series, and occasionally uploading a non-short video when 60 seconds isn't enough time for me to talk about everything. It's a series on a type of Pokemon that I think will either make it into ZA, or I would love to see it make a return to ZA, if only I'll appear biased. There's no set plan for them, I kinda just go through waves of when I'm feeling ambitious enough to come up, script, voiceover, and edit them. Then I just upload them every week that I have one to share, so they kinda just happen in waves. But ideally you'll see at least a couple new ones before the month is over, if you haven't already. I do have the idea somewhere in my head, it's just a matter of taking the time to flesh them out. And I got a strong feeling the moment we get news on Legends ZA, and they start revealing Pokemon in that, this series is going to become obsolete, so I'm just enjoying it while I can, to the point where it's kind of just completely taking over editorials for now. Again, I feel like eventually it's not really going to be relevant to make these type of videos anymore, and at that point it would be appropriate to go back into editorials proper. We'll see how I feel when the time comes. Technically I do have a playthrough going on, despite the XG hiatus, but because I haven't really committed back into an upload schedule, it may not be noticeable. I'm currently playing through a run of Pokemon Emerald Rogue, the 2.0 release, with a specialized rule set. In it I go through an adventure, the in-game term for individual runs, but I have my Pokedex set to Hisui, so I can only use Pokemon from the Hisui region, at least Pokedex-wise. It's not a perfect reenactment of Legends. For example, you can have a little Ninetales, more so, you can have an Arcanine and Growlithe, even though only the Hisui version of those two would normally exist in Legends Arceus, stuff like that. It started as a stream series that I was going to edit down into YouTube highlights. However, the more I streamed it, the more difficulties I had, and unfortunately it's just gotten to the point where it's not really fun to stream anymore, even though the game is still fun to play. So I think I'm going to just finish up this run on my own time. I will still be recording it though, so that video series will be done eventually. The issue that's preventing me from promising it as a weekly upload is that it does take as much time, if not more time, to edit than the Lost Age Randomizer and Pokemon XG series do. So it's next to impossible for me to build up a backlog at the moment, so I think I'm just gonna upload them as I finish making them. In the meantime, episode 1 is up on the channel, and if I'm doing my job correctly on the post-rendering side, you should have already seen the video card. And if you go to my channel and look up live streams, you can see VODs for the majority of the playthrough currently up there, just in case you can't wait until episode 2 to see the playthrough in action. Quick little footnote of how I was experimenting around with the channel to find a way to incorporate Pokemon Go photos that I take in my walks into it. Typically I would share them on TikTok, but I wanted to create an avenue for me to share them elsewhere in case anything happens to my access to the site. If you know, you know. Sadly, that has proven to be unsuccessful. Imagine, people have no interest in seeing photos on the video sharing platform. Who would have thought? The best I can manage is I made a separate Tumblr blog specifically for Pokemon Go photos, and I post them bi-weekly onto that account. So if that sounds like something interesting of you, I'll include a link in the description. There's going to be a lot of stuff in the description of this video in particular. Hopefully I remember to do it all. More than anything with the channel itself though, I've been using my quote-unquote loose hiatus to work on projects completely unrelated to YouTube. First and most, like I've said several times, but it doesn't hurt to say again, I want to push towards finishing and releasing Dawn Djinn version 2. So when I have the time, that's where my focus tends to go. I'll try to summarize as much as I can, but basically I've been investing a lot of time in finishing it up. Though there has been a couple setbacks that have made me lose some progress on it, thankfully, things are currently going pretty smoothly. I won't share all the details here, but some bullet points include balancing for the veteran mode. The default that I've been working on will be done in about one more round of testing all the boss fights, and focus has shifted a lot towards updating the casual version that more closely matches the difficulty of the original Golden Sun, with new features intact. There's a handful of other miscellaneous stuff that makes it hard for me to tell you exactly how much more time I need, but again, things are looking pretty good currently, if just in that sinkhole of being so close yet so far. I'll link the most recent development blog I have for Dawn Djinn in the description of this video, so if you care more about the details of how that's coming along, that's a good place to look. In terms of development though, I've also been dabbling in Got It, basically an open source version of Unity. I do want to get more into actual game development, and exploring that has been a good avenue to do so. I've even taking a couple of the tutorials that I've been following and expanding them into their own little platformer with a little bit more of my personal touch to it. I do want to expand even more so to be his own game. Definitely not game, but something that I could share for free online or something. Depends on how far it goes, but again, of all things, I definitely want to finish up version 2 of Dawn Djinn before seriously going anywhere with game development outside of modding. When I keep saying Dawn Djinn version 2 has to get done before I take on anything else, that game development stuff in particular. It's just something that I've been dabbling in just to give myself a little break from it every now and then though. But I don't see any of that seriously going anywhere while I have something as major as Dawn Djinn still being wrapped up. I would love to give more updates on it as I make more progress with it, but I still have to figure out a good way to share those sorts of details. I've seen a lot of other YouTubers do things like game dev vlogs on their channel. I don't think I'm making enough progress with all that yet to really do so. Again, I'm still going through tutorials. This was just one exception. And even though I don't care about the algorithm that much, especially of late, it's still been something on my mind, especially with trying to bring Pokemon Go photos to the channel flopping. I'm not sure if a game dev blog sort of thing would work well with the other things I already upload to the channel, and if it doesn't impact the other videos I upload, I'm concerned that the other videos that I upload would impact that sort of thing. And I also don't think I have enough resources, especially in time, to manage a second channel. I initially was going to branch out into a second channel just to separate the modding stuff from YouTube that I do more traditionally, just in case the wrong people care. And a big factor in that was like you have to upload consistently for a long period of time before you even get access to video links in the description, which I feel would be a major part of trailers and stuff that I was going to upload to that initial second channel. So that's why that idea got abandoned. And it's a little bit of a tangent, but I bring all of it up because those are things that are going through my mind when I think, why don't I just make a second channel for that? Let me actually do more with game dev before I seriously think about that. I figured it wouldn't hurt to throw it out there now, though. And honestly, I'm still struggling to find a balance between making videos and working on things like the Djinn or messing around with Got It, to the point where I'm just not sure what the future of the channel will be long term, at least right now. And at least right now, I still want to do both to some degree. Things are already looking a little more clear than when I first had that thought, so I feel pretty confident that as we get more for the summer and start to approach fall, things will get into order even more so. I've said it before, but I'll never say it enough. It's hard to balance all these hobbies, especially when I already have a full-time job completely unrelated to anything else I've already mentioned. But I always appreciate the patience of anyone that sticks through all this regardless. Again, I think regardless of the direction I go in, there will be fun to have along the way. I got a strong feeling by the next time I record a Game and Chill, I'll have a much clearer idea of what's going to happen going forward. It's just that all this is being recorded at a weird transitional period between projects. Things like still figuring out how long it takes to make a Pokemon Emerald Rogue video, not knowing when Dawn and Djinn will finish, stuff like that. But it has been so long since I've given an update in general, outside of occasional Discord posts or posts on the YouTube community tab, so I figured it wouldn't hurt to make one Game and Chill video now, while I'm actually feeling up to recording one. And once things get sorted out, I can always just make another update regarding the channel. You know, I was just going to play more Legends Arceus and insert the footage into this video if this Game and Chill was a little too short. But this kind of works for an update, especially an update from so long ago. So instead, this all's going to stay the way it is. And I'm going to go still do that Legends Arceus play session, and it'll be like an extra bonus Game and Chill episode. Go from having 2 months without one to 2 in 1 month. Sort of balances out. So I'm going to go do that. It might take a couple days, hopefully not longer, but no guarantees. And in the meantime, I hope you all take care.